Hello everybody and welcome to this video. Today I'll be taking you along a full tour of Wintergreen Resort located in Nelliesford, Virginia. What I love most about this resort is that it has one central area servicing all the green runs, an intermediate side full of all the blues and some black diamonds, and then an entire area and dedicated lift for advanced skiers and riders. I'll note that most of the shots filmed in this video were not the best snow conditions, as it had rained, got super warm, and then all froze the night before. But the entire mountain was open, and I got the chance to ski every single run, which hasn't happened in several years. So with that, let's begin. Exiting the main lodge or rental area puts you near the top of Potato Patch Lift and at the beginning of Upper Cross Trail. Besides the learning area of Potato Patch, Upper and Lower Cross Trail are the easiest trails at the resort. After a bit of skiing, you're able to stay skiers left here to access the Potato Patch Lift, or take the bend to the right to join in with Lower Cross Trail. Just be sure not to dip under the tunnel, which serves as access to the intermediate side. Lower Cross Trail joins in with Lower Doby, which is slightly steeper and much longer. This takes you all the way down to the main Blue Ridge Express 6-pack lift. At the top of the Blue Ridge Express lift, exit left and bypass the Progression Park to find the beginning of Upper Doby. Doby is a great trail for beginners as it's quite wide, mellow sloped, and decently long. About halfway down, you're able to cross under the lift towards skiers left to join Lower Diamond Hill, or you can follow the same trail all the way back down to the Blue Ridge Express. Exiting the Blue Ridge Express to the right puts you at the top of Upper Diamond Hill. This trail tends to open a bit later than the other side, but is very similar in regards to its difficulty. Lower Diamond Hill is not as wide as Doby, but it's also a tad less steep. At the bottom, you'll find Checkerberry Cabin with some food, restrooms, and a place to sit and relax for lunch. Wintergreen does feature a terrain park as well as a progression park for the beginners, which both can be accessed via the high-speed Blue Ridge Express 6-pack and the Loggers Alley triple chairlift. I'm not a great park skier and don't typically spend too much time in this area, but it can be fun to practice some easy jumps on occasion. This next run, I'll take you from the top of the Blue Ridge Express lift all the way over to the Big Acorn lift, which houses all of the intermediate terrain. Exit left and stay high. Traverse across the very mellow slope over towards Upper Cross Trail, and this time stay skiers right and head down through the short tunnel. Be mindful of people coming towards you down the prominent face of Eagle Swoop before crossing over to the lower half of that run. Eagle Swoop is the steepest of the intermediates at Wintergreen. The lower half is not so bad as its upper, but it's a very wide trail and you generally can find your own space. Eagle Swoop is definitely a step up from the runs accessed off the Blue Ridge Express. Located furthest skiers right off the Big Acorn lift is the intermediate run named Tyro. Overall, Tyro is the most gradual of the blue square slopes at Wintergreen. The top part is a bit steep as well as the final run out at the bottom, but in between, this trail features a nice, long, and gradual bend to the left as it arcs its way back to the lift. Not too far down after starting on Upper Tyro is a branch off to skiers left where you'll find Tequila. No, not the drink unfortunately. The Tequila slope is a short and pretty narrow run that takes you over to the bottom half of Sunrise. Tequila can get a bit crowded and cramped on busy days, and be sure to look for those bombing down the upper half of Sunrise as you join into that trail. The lower Sunrise slope is definitely a bit steeper than the intermediate trails mentioned so far, and it being mostly in the shade can make for some questionable and icy snow conditions. But overall, the combination of runs from Tyro to Tequila and finishing down Sunrise is an exciting route for intermediate skiers and riders. Next up on our list brings us to our first Black Diamond rated slope here at Wintergreen. In my opinion, Upper Sunrise is the most difficult trail accessed off the Big Acorn lift, not counting the Sunrise Glades that we'll get to in just a moment. Stay left off the lift and head towards the Expert Only sign on the right. Overall, Upper Sunrise is steeper and its grade is a bit more sustained than the neighboring Big Acorn run to its left, also rated Black Diamond. As mentioned previously about Lower Sunrise, the upper portion also tends not to receive as much sunlight and can get icy at times. But if you're on the more adventurous side, this trail is certainly worth trying out. Sunrise Glades is a short section of tree skiing located between the main Sunrise Run and Tequila. While not too extensive by any means, this is the only available tree skiing in all of Virginia, although it's hardly ever open. When it is open, what makes this area challenging tends to be the questionable snow conditions, or lack thereof, and numerous obstacles like rocks, sticks, and small stumps. After the initial drop-in, the remaining part is pretty mellow before rejoining the lower half of Sunrise. The only other Black Diamond trail over here is Big Acorn, which runs directly underneath and parallel to the Big Acorn lift. This is my favorite run on this side of the mountain. The run is broken up into two steeper sections, one at the top and the other at the bottom, while the middle tends to level out a bit. This run is decently wide, giving you options to stay to the right or traverse left all the way under the chair. Make sure to bring your A game and not crash in front of everyone watching. The final slope on this side is Eagle Swoop, which provides access back to the other mountain areas. About a third of the way down, locate the small tunnel on the left that we skied under to get over here. I recommend carrying a bit of speed through here, especially on a snowboard, as the slope does level out just past the tunnel. Alternatively, you can stay right and continue down the lower part of Eagle Swoop back to the lift for more fun over here. Now is the time to talk about my favorite area at Wintergreen, known as the Highlands. This area has a total vertical drop of 1,000 feet, accessed by its own high-speed six-pack lift, and is home to Wintergreen's most challenging terrain. All of the runs over here are rated Black Diamond, and the unique layout of terrain offers quite a variety of links between the top and bottom. Up first on the list is the link from Lower Doby to the Gap and down to Devil's Elbow. This path is hardly ever open at Wintergreen, but it offers a fun alternative access to the Highlands without having to paddle past the Blue Ridge Express lift and around the Checkerberry Cabin. The Gap is extremely mellow for a Black Diamond slope, but being that it forces you to the top of the Highland lift without any easy ways down, its rating is to deter any beginners from accidentally trying it out. Devil's Elbow is also pretty mellow compared to the other Black Diamond slopes at Wintergreen, but it's never crowded, and being that you can't really see any other slope, it makes you feel very isolated from the rest of the resort. The alternative access to Devil's Elbow is from skiing past the lodge near the Blue Ridge Express lift and hanging a sharp right. If it's open, this is often easier than paddling all the way over to Hydraulic, which is always the first slope to open on this side of the mountain. The most iconic ski run in the Highlands area is from Upper Cliffhanger to Hydraulic to Lower Wild Turkey. When the Highlands terrain first opens for the season, this is the only available path down. Hang the first right and ski underneath the lift, traversing a mellow slope at first. The initial head wall is the steepest before a small break. During mid-season, skiers left of this initial drop is often left ungroomed and moguled. After a decent break in the steepness, another smaller pitch follows to drop you back to the mid-mountain cabin. Hydraulic is a very short connector trail that links Cliffhanger to Wild Turkey. While it is a bit narrow, its difficulty classification comes only from the mandatory lift-serviced terrain at the top of this area. Lower Wild Turkey, though not nearly as steep as the upper section, offers a long and sustained grade all the way down to the lift. You can gain some serious speed through here, and often hit some side jumps under the lift if not closed off. Since the most popular trails funnel onto this slope, on busier days it can get a little crowded here, but nothing like the other two sides of the resort. Lower Cliffhanger is Wintergreen's steepest slope and rated double black diamond. The beginning part of this run is comparable to the other single black diamond slopes at the resort, but the pitch steepens considerably right at the end. The final drop is pretty short, but it can be quite challenging depending on the varying snow conditions. The central trail at the top of the Highlands Express is Upper Wild Turkey. This upper portion is defined by two distinct steeper sections split by a short traverse crossing under the lift where it mellows out. Both sections are longer and more sustained than Cliffhanger, as well as entirely visible by the chairlift riders, so be sure to keep it together on this one. It's fun to carry all of your speed into the bottom half of Wild Turkey, but be sure to watch for merging traffic from both the left and right directions. Though it's hardly worth mentioning, but Crosscut is another short connector trail which links the top part of Upper Wild Turkey to the bottom of Upper Cliffhanger. Although it's rated a black diamond, it's actually one of the easiest slopes at the entire resort. Located furthest skiers left off the Highlands Express is Outer Limits. This 2024-25 ski season is the first time this trail has been opened in a few years, and it's always a treat to ski this one. From what I remember going back several years, the resort usually leaves this trail natural and ungroomed to develop nice moguls throughout the season, if it's open, of course. I was lucky to catch it during its initial opening, but with the snow blowers running, the conditions were choppy, inconsistent, and hard to see. The last remaining trail on our list here at Wintergreen is Loggers Alley, which can be accessed by starting on Upper Cliffhanger. Stay skiers right down the first head wall, and Loggers Alley begins just as the slope mellows out. I recommend carrying as much speed as you can here, especially on a snowboard, as there is a brief uphill section that always requires some paddling. Snowboarders often resort to unbinding completely and walking up this trail until it slopes back downward again. Loggers Alley provides access back to the beginner slopes and to the main Blue Ridge Express lift back to the lodge, or you can link back into the Highlands area at the bottom of Lower Diamond Hill. I decided to take a secret cut through just past the Loggers Alley Terrain Park lift over to Lower Doby and linked this back to the Gap and Devil's Elbow, which provided a decently long run of varying difficulty. With that, everyone, we have skied every single trail here at Wintergreen. With its decent vertical drop of 1,000 feet, great separation of terrain difficulty, high-speed lifts, and on-site lodging, Wintergreen is one of my favorite places to ski local to my general area. I'd love to hear where you ski and ride in the Southeast, so drop a comment of your favorite resorts and I'll try to visit. Wintergreen also boasts some night skiing, so go check out that video if you haven't already, or some of my videos out west at Keystone and Snowbird. If you've enjoyed this full tour of Wintergreen, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel to help it grow. I'll see you all in the next one.